We have 1½ cups of flour. I'm going to put just a little pinch of salt in there. Pinch of salt gives color and also taste to the dough. We have a teaspoon of baking powder and a ½ cup of sugar. That goes in. So now what I want to do is just whirl this around for a couple minutes, just to blend everything. I'll pulse it. Okay, that's good enough. So now what we have to do is add our fat to this. And for that we're using, of course, butter. Because what's better than butter in pastry, right? You have to have it. So I have a little way of doing the butter to incorporate it into the flour so that you really get an even distribution of the butter. And that is to start with your cheese grater. So you have a cheese grater, and on those large holes you want to just grate your butter. So the butter is cold. That helps. If the butter is cold, of course, it won't get all mushy. Okay. And now we put our top back on. And we pulse that a couple times. You'll know when it's all incorporated by just watching. You don't want to just whirl this around. You want to really just do it gently until you can see that the butter has been really evenly distributed. And I'm just doing this very slowly. I'm just going to beat up this egg. This was a small egg, so I'll have to see. I may have to add some water. So you beat up the egg in a bowl, and then we want to add some flavoring. So here we have vanilla extract, 35% alcohol. You don't want vanilla flavoring, so you want about a teaspoon. I like vanilla, so I always add a little bit more. So don't buy vanilla flavoring, which is just imitation vanilla. You want vanilla extract that has 35% alcohol in it. All right, so now we're going to pour this over our mixture. And I'll know whether it's too dry, because once the dough starts to go around the blade, and you see how it's getting a little chunkier now. See that? I don't want to add liquid yet, so I'm still working the butter. O ye of little faith. Now, let's see. We want something that's going to hold between our hands, isn't too dry. And actually, that's just right. So we can take that out now. So I'm going to take that out into a bowl. That was just enough liquid. And now we just want to get it together, because we're going to do something with this. We're not even going to roll this out. What we're going to do is put this into a tart pan. And what you do is you play with this. You put it on your tart pan. And you can either flour your hands or just work it with your fingers or put a piece of plastic wrap over the top. And you really want to press the dough evenly into the pan. You want to go up the sides of the pan as well. This is so easy. And you can use this dough for other recipes besides the one that I'm doing with a filling of dried prunes, by the way. So once you have it in the pan like that, I want to make sure that you went up the side so that it's all even all the way around and it's all filled in those little grooves, so it all looks the same when you take it out of the oven. And this is going to take, depending on your oven, maybe about 12 minutes or so, 15. You put it in, you put your timer on, and you let it go. And when it's ready, it will look like this. See? See how nice and hard that is now? And now that's ready for the filling. Now I have my dried prunes. They're really good for you, as we all know. So a box of prunes, you want about 2 9-ounce boxes. They usually sell them in 9-ounce dried prunes. And all I did was take the 2 boxes, which came to about 4 cups of prunes, and added about 2/3 of a cup of water in a saucepan, and I just cooked them just a bit until they just softened a little bit, because now I want to puree them. So they're all going to go in here in the food processor, and you really need a food processor for this, because this is going to be a really thick paste. Whirl them up. Okay, you want this to be pasty. And I know what you're saying. That looks terrible, but actually it tastes delicious. A 1/4 cup of brown sugar. So you mix in brown sugar. That just gives it an extra little sweetness. And then we want the zest of 1 orange. So here's an orange. So the oils from this zest are really going to flavor this filling. Now we're going to add that special ingredient. I took a bottle of this vinegar. You want about 4 cups. You can buy balsamic vinegar in any grocery store. I put it in a pot and I cooked it down until I had a 1/2 cup. And it looks like this. So let me show you. From just a liquid like that, see how thin that is? I got this. Look at how beautiful and syrupy that is. Look at how it coats the back of that spoon. And what has happened here is this vinegar has concentrated its sweetness. And so we add this, and I know what you're thinking, oh my God, all that vinegar? Yep, goes right in there. So this just loosens this up as well as give it some more flavor. And now you can just imagine how dense this is going to be. When you eat this, you really only need a small wedge of this. It's nice with whipped cream or some seasoned with sugar mascarpone cheese or a little dollop of gelato over the top. Looks like chocolate ice cream, doesn't it? And then you want to spread it around so that it's evenly distributed in your shell. Now you've reduced your oven temperature from 400 to 375 degrees, and you're going to bake this until this tart is set. It's going to take about 25 to 35 minutes depending on your oven. Remember that remaining dough that I had left over? I took 2/3 for the shell, but I kept the rest for the top. And then you just take it. You don't even have to roll it out. You just sprinkle it over the top. It's a very rustic looking thing. A little coarse sugar over the top before it goes in the oven. Or you could put the coarse sugar on afterwards if you want to, but it adds just a nice little extra crunch. Coarse sugar you can find in the grocery store. So that pretties it up beautifully. Okay, all ready to go? And we're going to keep our eye on it. Oven's on, 375. I would say about 25 minutes or so. And then we'll check it.